Welcome to our emergency preparedness video series. This is number 2 of 12 videos that will become available during this year, one each month. First, here are our faces behind the voices. Hi, I'm Jennifer Ponce, the City of Morgan Hill's Office of Emergency Services Coordinator.
And I'm Randy Christensen, an instructor for Morgan Hill's Community Emergency Response Team.
Being prepared for disasters and emergencies can seem like a big job. Many people don't know where to start, so they never start at all. Do One Thing is a 12-month program and has been adopted nationally by emergency services of many counties. The program makes it easy for you to prepare yourself, your family, and your community for emergencies or disasters. The goal of this presentation is to describe options on how to obtain and store a minimum of 72 hours worth of water for your entire family. Our objectives are primarily twofold. Obtain a 72-hour supply by purchasing bottled water, or learn to safely bottle your own water, and how to provide that acquired water in a safe manner if disaster strikes.
To help explain the priorities that need to be taken to live through a disaster or emergency, let's review the survivor rule of threes. You can live for 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in extreme conditions, 3 days without water, and 3 weeks without food. When gathering supplies for emergency kits, many people begin with food. Water is more critical, and that's the emphasis of this presentation.
A reminder, during a disaster or emergency, we may all lose electrical power. Without power, none of the city or private well pumps will work, thus no water. During some types of disasters, all of our water supplies may become undrinkable. It is recommended that we store a minimum of 1 gallon of water per family member per day, and that's for 3 days. More may be prudent. 2 quarts are for drinking. That's about 8 bottles of water in the standard 16.9-ounce size purchased at your local store. An additional 2 quarts will be needed for preparing food, washing, and sanitation. Allow additional water if you're in a hot climate, you're storing for a child, or if there's a possibility of illness or pregnancy. If you have pets, you'll need to supply their water also. The amount will depend on the size of the animal.
One route to take for obtaining your water storage is to just purchase the required number of 16.9-ounce water bottles. You won't need to disinfect it. As long as it's sealed, it's safe. Federal guidelines say that commercially bottled water is safe for 2 years. FEMA and CDC recommend that after 1 year, you replace it with new water. It has been found that sometimes there is a breakdown of the plastic and it leaches into the water. To keep the water tasting good, store it in a cool, dark place. Bottling your own water may be less expensive, but will take more time to prepare. City water is already treated, so no special requirements there. It will need to be rotated and replaced after 1 year. Some organizations recommend every 6 months. Each time you replace the water, you'll need to once again sanitize the container.
If your water is coming from a private well, it will need to be disinfected. There are only 2 options recommended by the Environmental Protection Agency: disinfection using bleach and boiling.
Bleach is a great disinfectant, as long as it hasn't gone bad. It's no longer an active disinfectant 6 months after being bottled. You can look up bottling date codes on the internet. To disinfect using bleach, apply 1/8 of a teaspoon, or 8 drops, to each gallon of water. The bleach needs to be at least 5.25% sodium hypochlorite. Do not use scented, gel, color-safe, or bleaches with added cleaners. After the water has been treated with bleach, shake or stir it, and then let it stand open for 30 minutes. The water should have a slight smell of bleach. If it doesn't, repeat the dosage and let it stand open for another 15 minutes. If the water still doesn't have a slight smell of bleach, discard it and find a new water source. Boiling is a sure way to kill all active viruses and bacteria. It won't remove dirt and grime, but all of those nasty germs will be dead. Bring the water to an active rolling boil. It should boil for at least 1 minute. Some sources say 5 to 10 minutes. Let the water cool down before use.
There are other treatment options, some more effective than others. Filtration makes the water look better, but it doesn't necessarily remove all the bad stuff. Purifiers do a better job, but only the better ones will go down to zero point 0.1 microns, which gets rid of all bacteria and viruses. UV light is a newer option that works really well with smaller quantities of water and when left on for a long period of time. Sterapins are the most common and will clean a small glass of water in about 40 seconds. There are tablets that use iodine or other chemicals. Most leave a bad taste in the water. Some have neutralizers that you apply afterwards to remove the taste. All containers should be sanitized before use. Wash the containers and lids with dishwashing soap and then rinse with water. Sanitize the inside by using a mixture of 1 teaspoon bleach per quart of water. Let the containers air dry for at least 1 minute.
You aren't limited to just the 16.9 ounce water bottles for storage. There are different sizes of bottles, barrels, and drums of unlimited sizes. Some that are pictured are 2 and 3 gallon, 5 gallon, 7 gallon, 15 gallon, and 55 gallon. Water bricks were developed for third world countries. They are normally 5 or 7 gallons and can hold fluids or grains. They are interlockable and homes can be built with them. Tanks are larger and can range anywhere from 70 gallons on up. Pillows and bladders are flexible and can be placed in areas like under a bed. Indoor bladders are usually 55 gallons or less. Bladder tanks, meant for outdoors, can go up to 210,000 gallons. There are some containers that should not be used to store drinking water. Even though glass is actually best because it's non-porous, it is not recommended because of breakage. Don't use milk cartons. They don't seal well and are not meant for longevity. Only use stainless steel containers if you go the route of metal. Other metals may corrode or rust. Don't collect water for drinking from downspouts. Birds and other animals leave droppings on your roofs, and that could spread disease.
Within our homes are vessels that store water. Your water heater normally stores between 30 to 50 gallons. After shutting off the main water input to your home, you can drain out the remaining water from the pipes. Ice in your freezer is a source. You can even freeze more water, which would not only be a drinking source, but will aid in keeping the freezer cold in the event of a power outage. The toilet tank, not the bowl, can be a resource as long as no chemicals have been introduced, like that blue stuff. In review, we have discussed 2 ways of obtaining water storage. One way is to purchase 72 hours or more of water for all members of your family. We recommend the abundance side. Another way is to store water in containers of your choice. We reviewed how to disinfect your water by different methods, how to clean and prepare the storage containers, and the different options for containers. This concludes the presentation of Do One Thing, Water. Thank you for viewing.